I just left from a conversation with a client of mine named Judy. And we had a conversation about something that was going on in one of her friends' life. Her friend is, she already hit the wall pretty much. And she has two kids, her friends do. Her friend has two kids. She has a daughter and a younger daughter around the age of 8. The oldest daughter is 17 going on 18. Now, what she tells me is not a surprise. And I spoke about this in my other audio before. And it was a premonition and it was through experience. And it was an audio that I probably didn't put out yet. I saved it because I didn't know how my listeners will handle it. I don't want to dirty up our channel. My channel is your channel. So I try to keep it as simple and away from drama as possible. In that audio, I was talking about, it's called The Last Road for Feminists. The Last Road for Feminists. And in that audio, I was talking about the different stages of how, first of all, let me tell you this before I even begin to continue. For you ladies who are listening to this, if you have the privilege to do this, this is actually to shine a little light for you, just to help you out. Okay, these are things that might enrich you to enrich others. I know you always talk about how us men are so hard and we're just as MGTOW red pill men that we just trample all over you or whatever, how you feel and think. It's not necessarily true, because we give you dime pieces of knowledge. We give you a path. We share our information with you so you know what we're talking about. In this one, and it's a rarity because of the subject I talk about, but I'm fair. You know, my subjects are balanced. It's not directed at culture. It's not directed to attack to any degree, nor is it to put anybody down. So this is more of a helper than anything. Take this more of a helper. It may not apply to you, but it may apply to one of your girls, your sisters, your mother, or someone that you know of, like Judy here. So listen up here. And for you men who are listening, it is also for you to understand what's going on, what women say, and what they're doing when they say a certain thing like, I am independent. I can do it all by myself, or I don't need you, or I am too busy, or I don't have the time for you or for relationships right now. In Judy's situation, and her friend, okay, she discussed with me how her friend is using her oldest daughter to help her to provide for the financial and money that she needed and need to pay the rent, to pay the light, to keep her car note going, the bare essentials. Okay. Some of you may think, and I used to think that way as well, that, you know, you have to survive, you got to eat. And the girl is, you know, just about 17 to 18. So she's, you know, a part-time job going to a full-time job, because it'd be pretty soon when she turned 18. So, but I got a red pill for you. So I'm gonna leave Judy's story aside, and I'm going to begin the teaching here as your Morpheus to supply you, Neo, with this knowledge. Now listen. When a lady, usually when they say, oh, I'm dependent, I can do it all by myself, and she's of a certain age and she has kids, okay? There's actually several things that are happening that you men and some of you women don't know of. And I've seen this pattern for a long time now, even before I transformed to Morpheus by escaping the Matrix. And that is, the women the mothers are, yes, using their child as a crutch, as a financial support. That's right. Her backup plan, if sugar daddy doesn't work, okay, if fleecing you for your DNA to get child support, or to divorce, rape you, as they so commonly do here in America, her ultimate final plan is to have her older child to help pay for the bills that she cannot cover. Definitely with her spending habits, definitely with her ambition to buy the constantly just, well, again, spending habits that covers everything. Okay. And her lack of logical decisions that she may make. Now, we all understand as adults here, I don't have to talk about it, that bad things happen. Yes, bad things happen where maybe the man walked out because he had other ambitions. I understand that. You don't have to express it. Maybe, as some may say, maybe he cheated and she didn't tolerate it. And she said, okay, I may not have enough money to survive on my own, so I'm going to leave you anyway and do what I have. And the only person that is there or will ever be there at that time would be the oldest child. Okay. We understand that, but I'm talking about those who purposely. Now listen, there are many of them besides those rarity situations that happen where he just so happened to walk away. He is not satisfied with her performance to various degrees. Unfortunately, there are many women who do this. Now listen to me carefully. What you would do, ladies, is get into a relationship with this man. And of course, you have been warned, men who are listening to this, ladies, if you're listening. What happened is he shouldn't have been with her anyway with this, well, best to say the 14, 15-year-old child that she's already with. Okay, or have. On an often occasion, what happens is the blue pill simp. Okay, he will get with this single mother anyway with the hope strategy that she's going to be the unicorn, different than the rest of the women. She would never. Okay, then he finds out it doesn't work, because if you've been following my audio and you understand this, because she's carrying many energies from different other guys, and definitely a DNA from another guy, and definitely she hasn't healed herself yet on a general basis. Because as a teacher and a helper, you can call me a helper, as I have been advising and talking to many relationships, and definitely women, okay, they jump on the bandwagon faster than I can even spell the word. While I'm speaking to them about a situation, about one of their ex-boyfriends, and here I am supporting and helping, said, don't do it, heal yourself, meditate, walk away, concentrate on what you need to be doing, so forth and so on. As soon as I turn my back a week later, I get the phone call. Hey, I'm in a new relationship. Wow, what? Excuse me? You just got through breaking up with your boyfriend like a week ago. You with somebody else? Yeah, I gave this guy a chance. And my question will be, who is this guy? Oh, he's a friend. I'm like, yeah, that's what women say. Like, oh, yeah. So he was a friend that was in the backdrop the whole time that you've been donkey dunking with the entire time. And then you call him your friend. Okay, and now you want to make it official, but it's been official the whole time. It's called polygamy. Women, men. They just don't put a title on it. It's funny how you can put a label or a title on something and it changes your whole perception, but it's still the same thing. You're donkey dunking with the guy every now and then, once a month, once a week, every now and then, maybe take you out for a dinner, donkey dunk you and drop you off at home. And then you say, oh, he's my friend. No, that's your part-time boyfriend. He's your boyfriend. He's your part-time boyfriend while you are already with your boyfriend. Okay, just be real with it. Okay, so normally, I don't even have to talk about it right now. She already prepares herself to be with this guy years in advance. Okay, he's already there. He just don't have a label to himself, and nobody's going to know anything about him. Okay, until she's ready to reveal who this blue pill simp is. Okay. However, the point of the matter is she doesn't give herself time to rest. She doesn't give herself time to heal. She doesn't give herself time to think about her decisions when she has these children. The children are a priority now because you can't stuff them back into your womb. And you definitely can't give them back to the father in liquid form. It's not going to happen. Okay. Unfortunately, instead of her making better decisions with the next blue pill guy who so happened to be unfortunate to be with her, okay, and her studying that this is even more critical. It's already critical when you have this one child by this baby daddy of yours. It's already critical. You already need to make financial decisions, spiritual decisions, and physical choices that will help your child. And definitely, I always suggest that there is a man and a woman at home for your child. Regardless of what everybody else may say, okay, you have all these false teachers online and on YouTube. You got all the, oh, she can do it by herself. No, I was raised in a single home and I was okay. That's you. And you can say that now because you are an adult. Okay. But there is more to do with your mind, your energy, your chemistry, and your upbringing of experience when you have both man and woman at home. Okay. You learn from the experience. You learn from the interaction, especially if that man and woman is right. But unfortunately, the young lady doesn't think about that. All right. And here she is on boyfriend number 2, which actually is just unofficially boyfriend number 2 that decided to buy the farm, in which the farm has already had donkey dunking traffic since it was, 15, 16, like I always say. I always say 15, 16. That's when puberty really hits. OK, and sometimes there are oops situations. However, so you have this girl who's already not quite prepared to take it seriously. They quite not prepared to understand that, okay, I got a 16, 17-year-old daughter or son now. And, I'm bringing this new man into my life. I got to make sure that, no, she ain't thinking that. It's usually about her, or sometimes she'll say, well, I'm thinking only about my child. Listen, I know this. Don't tell, oh, no, that's not. No, they'll say that. My child is most important to me. I'm not interested in a relationship. I just want to be friends right now, which what she means is I need you to be in the backdrop, like I just told you about. I need you to be a temporary donkey dunk friend. That's all that is. No such thing as friends with women. Okay, I know what y'all say. Well, it's not true. We get no. If there is a friend in a man, if he's a man, okay, no, he's waiting or he's already tasted the fruits. Okay, you can't pull that blinded eye. You can't do that Jedi trick with Morpheus. Been there, done that, seen that. And some of you women tried to do me that way. I said, I'm not playing that. I'm not your backdrop. I'm number one and I'm the only, or I'm nothing at all. I don't mind being nothing. Okay. So she will constantly just concentrate on her career. That's what she calls it. And struggling, and she has this child. And then eventually, of course, nature kicks in, and she just so happened to emotionally like this guy and try to wing him into the relationship. Of course, men, that women do that sometimes. Their words don't comply with their actions nor with their logic. Well, I said this last week, but I feel this differently today. Yeah, that was last year, but now I'm really feeling it because, this donkey dunk, I really need that on a constant basis. Okay. But here's the point of the matter. What happens is she brings them in and they're unprepared. She's not concentrating on this is 2 times worse than the first. And neither is he. That's why he's blue pill, simp, beta, unlearned. He's like, well, church said it's better to marry than to burn. I'm going to try to marry her. I need to date her first. Pastor said we should court first. Okay, go ahead. All right. You're still trying to do this with a high mileage car and expect for it to last for the rest of your life. Good luck with that. Okay. And so they make it happen. And because of her, again, energy with the baby daddy of the probably now 15, 16-year-old, since their relationship had progressed from being the backdrop friend to being a front runner friend, okay, donkey dunk on a official level, she still doesn't understand what's getting ready to happen here. There's going to be a glitch at the end of the road. And the glitch is knowing how to comply to each other and compromise, knowing how to deal with their emotions, knowing how to associate not only herself with this new guy, but for him to have a relationship with the older, which is between, of course, the ages of 16, 18. It gets bad when she's 16. Okay. They're somewhat moldable at 15 and 14. Okay. Although they can be off the horse as well, but it gets worse as they get even older. Okay. If there's not a steady relationship between her and the new guy. So what ends up happening is this girl, she goes that way. There's two ways it goes. She goes to the relationship or she doesn't get a relationship at all. Okay. That means either she goes for the fact of needing a relationship or wanting one on a permanent basis, or she's still just working her career and her job. Okay. That has rocky times. She runs into some tough situations. Okay. The tough situations is when she goes outside of her budget, when she wants to buy things that are outside of her range. Okay. She feels as if every child have to have a room of their own and a smartphone of their own and their own toilet to sit on. Okay. I see that happen a lot too. You know, instead of her getting a simple apartment, she want to go get a condo or a, what do you call that? A townhouse. Okay. Instead of being settled with a 1 bedroom. Okay. The child's young at the time. You have to save up, do what you can with the modesty. You can't afford anything more. So you have to be frugal and modest. She has to go get a 2 and 3 bedroom house. Okay. That she can't simply afford. But by emotion, she feel, well, you know, my daughter, she's growing up. She has to have a room of her own. Okay. So that means she's willing to pay and suffer. Okay. For the needs of her older daughter or child. Okay, instead of teaching that older daughter or child, as she should with logic, to be satisfied with what she has, at least for right now, because it's not going to be forever. You know, they don't have long vision. Anybody who don't sit there and say, you know what, it's not going to be forever. If they can't say that, you're wasting your time with them. You got to have long vision and say, OK, I'm suffering right now, but it's going to be better in the future. Are you listening? I can deal with this 1 bedroom, maybe for a year and a half. By that time, I'm saving up money. Then we can do better, Sarah, Brandy, Dashe. Just deal with it for right now. Deal with the pull-out bed for right now. Just for right now. Deal with the cot just for right now. Okay, baby? We had to leave your daddy behind, but let's deal with it for right now. Simple, right? No, she won't think like this. She's like, no, I gotta have my house right now. I gotta have my 2 bedroom right now that I can't afford. Excuse me. Throat's getting dry. It's an exciting subject. Sometimes I got to slow myself down like I usually do. If you notice, talking a little faster because I get excited about subjects like this because it's a lot of information. So she won't think like that. It's always, I got to have the latest. I got to have the finest clothes. I got to have fancy shoes right now. I'm not going to wait till 5 years from now when I get a better position in my job. I'm making a little bit more money. OK, when I have saved up. It's not about, oh, I'm going to go out there and get a simple, decent buy here, pay here car. OK, and I got a steady mechanic who will work on it. OK, I trust this guy and I can take my car to him and let him change the tires and whatever else needs to be done with it. The car is mine. No, you know what she'll do? I'm going to go to Ray Skullman. I'm going to go to the Kia West. OK. I'm going to go to Terry Honda's tonight. OK, and go ahead and throw on this month to month payment that I can barely even afford and tack that onto my rent. Because I want to show off. I want my girlfriends to know that I'm doing good. I'm independent. I can do it all by myself. And then we'll start looking lucrative is when their child transforms to be the age where they're beginning to make money now. But here's the problem with what I'm talking about here. All right. It gets worse because that avenue seems very nice to her that she can have extra income. This is why she needs you men around on you. This is one of the reasons why some of you men don't see it like this. This is like a pinnacle of the reasons why she's always looking for you to take care of everything, or to pay, okay, or to have your financial stability where she can eat from your plate. Okay, not a plate that she made her. No, where she can eat off of your plate because it sounds good for someone else to be the second financial provider. Okay, because of her spending habits and because she wants more and because she can't be satisfied with simple things. No, she ain't gonna buy a truck and just work on it herself or have somebody. No, she got to have a brand new truck. You know, give me a Chevy Silverado 2020 right now. If you don't give it to me, I'm going to wait for a year and a half for a man to already have the financial ability to do it. And I'm going to hypergamy monkey jump to him and make sure that he provides that for me. And my excuse is because I want my daughters to have what I never had. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound familiar? Oh, I'm tired of my children suffering like that. I want to make sure that they have a good life. So I'm going to find me somebody who has it to give to me, to give it to me. But of course, in return, what is it that she gives to him besides attitude or more hypergamy or not being able to peer bond? Because how could she? It's even tougher when you are trying to, again, mend those pieces again from the first child that you first had. It's harder as you continue to flip from one guy to the next. It's only psychological, realistic here in America. It's facts. But here's the damages. This is why I was excited to talk about this and to share this with you. It's not attack again, ladies. If you're feeling uncomfortable for it, too bad. Maybe you are guilty and I'm not like, no, Listen, because it do apply to many other women. Judy is not a liar. I know her personally. Okay, she's saying what's actually happening and she's discussed it. And I see it myself, and it's a growing thing now, especially after after the virus here. OK, especially after that or during it. OK, be completely informed that that's what's going on. Because when times get tough and she can't pay the bills like she could, and you got this older child who's working a temporary job or some fast food place or something like that, guess what she's doing? I'm waiting for the paycheck. Now, here's the damage. I know I said that already, but I'm going to say it again. The damage is making that child grow up too soon. The damage is this, let's just say, between 16 and 18. Okay, we know that some can't have a job at 16, but I'm just going to say that. There are few, not many. That child needs to be concentrating on school at this time. At this time, this child needs to be at home figuring out themselves. They're trying to develop their own life. They don't need to be focusing on being an adult and taking care of an adult's failures. OK, they shouldn't be dragged into the affair of the adult at such a young age. They need to be preparing themselves for building a career or a financial infrastructure for themselves at that time. That money that they are getting, that they're working their part-time jobs, whether it may be fast food or whatever warehouse job, they need to be saving that money to buy their first car, to get around the world, to get their license, to save up for a rainy day, to save up if they want to get something, to buy and purchase something that can reflect on their hard work. Maybe they want to buy a PlayStation. Maybe they want to buy their own computer of some sort or something. Maybe they want to buy their own shoes or clothing or something like that in the future. I'm not talking about just immediately buy that stuff just because you got a job, but save up and wait. Maybe they want to do that. They can't. Maybe they could use that money to save up for their own college tuition. OK, for their own financial, or you can say their own educational avenues that may or may not be available. or that car that they dreamed about when they were when they were a kid, to finally have the money to pay for it or to buy it outright. They can't do that because mommy's standing there. Come here, honey. Where's that paycheck? I need the money. But here's where the sword runs a person through, and it should at least wake you up. Neo, listen. The child knows no better. I know you've heard this in music with some of the popular rappers and singers or actors. I know you heard this in maybe in the theaters. And I know you probably heard someone else say this. It's very common, okay? Where the child will say, well, I love my mommy and my daddy, so I know I need to provide and to help them. Right? I want to help my mom because my mom is struggling. I'm not saying that's wrong to do. Morpheus didn't say wrong or right, even in the beginning of his audio. I'm saying it's damage and it's not good to do. For it is well to care about that your child cares about you, or you as a child, if you are one of them who is providing for your mom or your dad because you're struggling, depending on the situation. Okay. But that becomes the key. That becomes the hook that gives this child nothing but an ambition to do just that, when their life should be concentrating on educement, on education, on studying themselves, on learning spirituality, of saving that money, you see, are wanting to decide what paths they want to take for their future. They can look at that. And of course, to them, it may be important, but they have a burden right now. They are taking up the other end of the burden and weight of the family by feeling like I have to provide for my mom because she can't provide for herself. That runs a dagger through them because that inhibits, it slows them down, it retards their success. It retards their ability to focus on other important matters. So they end up growing up too fast. They already have experienced their mother breaking up with their father for some reason. They've already experienced the first separation between her leaving the house and going to an apartment with her mom, maybe in the middle of the night. Maybe for some of them, they have to go to the shelter for a little while before they're able to find a stable home somewhere else, for whatever reason it might be. This is hell when you think about it. That's hell. And it's happening all the time. And I'm not expecting for anybody else to talk about it because Morpheus will. Morpheus will. I'm going to talk about it. But this is, again, here's your apparatus, the undercover things that you and I am now you are not really aware of. And we are trying to make quality citizens, people of the future, especially of America, out of these teenagers and kids that are taking up unnecessary labor too soon. They can't provide themselves with a sensible, logical reality when they feel as if they are responsible for their own parents' well-being. That's what happens to most women when they say, I got a backup plan. That's their backup plan. That's their backup plan. And it happens all the time. So the child end up, okay, hear me in. Now, I'm raw. Okay, y'all know how I usually teach. It's Morpheus. That's the only way my red pill works. Is if it don't choke you, then I'm not making it potent enough. If the lady or woman, okay, do not understand the dynamics of a relationship and treat it with vital importance and look at it with long vision of the future possibilities, what ends up happening is if she cannot parasite off of you, men, then she will parasite off of her child. She'll parasite off of them through your child support, through whatever funds that you are providing for the child outside of the court system, and parasite off of the child itself for whatever that child do, whether it might be protecting the house, taking out the trash, cleaning the house, listen, watching the younger child, which that really happens. It's really off the charts now with that. She'll go off to work, watch the baby. Guess who's responsible now? Guess who's mom number 2? The daughter. That's right. The daughter's the child now. That still is, listen, that's not that child's responsibility. Yes, that's the child's little sister or little brother. That doesn't mean that that's their responsibility. The only responsibility that your teenagers have is growing up. That's all. It's their responsibility to be in their room and have their face in an encyclopedia or a dictionary, or have a pen and paper, have a pen or pencil in between their fingers while they're sitting in the bed, okay, with some music in their ears, studying their life. That's their responsibility. That's their job. Not taking care of mom's leftover mess. So they are getting parasited off of. And therefore, their success rate is lowered to a lower percentage. Worse still, when they feel like that they are utterly obligated to taking care of mom because mom cannot fulfill the rent's quota in various degrees. So she's at fear, for one, because she loves her mom, which is a good thing. She don't want her mom to suffer, but she also don't want to be out there out of house either. So she's already at the age, again, between age 16 and 18 and so forth. She's already worrying about survival. Already. Because mom or dad didn't think about in the beginning, okay, we have a responsibility. Now, it'd be one thing if she didn't have any children and she's out there. They still parasite anyway, but she's out there, okay, in her own apartment, her own place. Okay, good. Take care of yourself. Buy your own bread. Good night. Okay, be done with it. Go fly as far as you want to fly. You won't be missed. Anyway, go fly. Right? But as soon as a child is brought into it, it's a totally different ball game now. It's a totally different story. It's a different dimension altogether. Now you got to think about that child, and you got to think about the well-being of the child all the way around. See, a lot of them think, oh, I'm doing a good job. My child's going to school. They come home and a part-time job. I don't have a boyfriend, but we're cruising. We're doing just fine. No, you're not. No, you're not. That teenager or that child might not be saying anything, but that child is an adult before their time. Before their time. This is why you see the prison cells, or you can say the probation centers, the adolescents, all that going on in these violent attacks and homicides and things that are going on around the country. These are children doing that, 19 and younger. But why is this happening? They're kids. Yes, they are doing these crazy, horrendous acts because mommy and daddy didn't think. Namely, you could say mother, because again, they're going to give mother custody. No matter what you say, they're going to give her custody. If she get a place and she got food, they was okay. Most likely, we're going to make sure that the child goes to the mom. It's an American thing. That's why it's a cesspool going downhill and nobody's thinking about it. It's okay. Like a mudslide. It's fine. We're going to survive. No, you're not. No, you're not. Because those same people are the future. When you force something to grow before its time, it becomes mutated. It become a sickening byproduct of something that's not going to last long. You rush food that's supposed to be baked slowly. You rush a flower to grow because you want to add fertilizer to it. Okay, it's not going to get the concentration that it needs. It's not going to work out well. As an artist, how I start doing my drawings, I loved drawing, and I was good at portraits, drawing faces and people. And there were some times where I felt like it was impossible. Somebody actually paid me one time. I can never forget. He saw my work that I was doing. I had a portfolio and sketches. He said, "Oh, that's nice." He said, "Can you draw me?" I was like, "Excuse me?" "Oh, I never did that before." He said, "I'll tell you what, I will pay you to draw me." And he gave me a picture. Say, "You draw this." I was like, wow, okay. This was a while ago, a long time ago. I don't do that anymore because it takes a lot of time. Okay, I'm into teaching and all that type of stuff now. I'm no longer the student, I'm the teacher. However, make a long story short, I thought it was impossible, well, not impossible, but difficult because I kept taking my time. It was a slow process. I couldn't see the whole picture. I couldn't see it. But there was etches and the outside wasn't as right like I wanted it to be. You know, a little bit of erasing. I'm thinking maybe I should just call this guy up and say, I can't do it. But I took my time, and every moment I just took my time with the pencil and the brush, to the point where I stopped erasing. Now I'm just adding and adding and adding and adding and just taking my time. And one day he asked me, he said, "Oh, how's it coming along?" I'm like, "Oh, it's just a little while. It's a little while. And so the day came where I told him that it might be just about ready on Saturday. It was a quota. I said, "I'm going to go Saturday. It's going to be done Saturday." He's like, "Okay." So I meet him on Saturday. He said, "Is it ready yet?" And I had it in my car, but I knew. I said, "No, I don't. I wasn't nervous." I said, "No, I don't think it's ready yet. I apologize. I think I'm going to do a few more touches on it. I wanted to take my time and do it right." And he said, "Well, okay, I thought it was going to be ready, but all right, I'll wait a little longer." So I took it home and continued to add more to it. And it was a little bit longer. He was just a pinch impatient. He wasn't patient, just a little bit, not enough to irritate me. He was okay. Pretty good client. But it was laughable for myself because I'm thinking, okay, why did I do that? Why am I, And I'm thinking, maybe if I was a better artist, it would be done by now. And maybe I need to increase my skills, because it's taking, longer than what I want it to be. But anyway, I get done with it one brush at a time. And when I presented the picture to him, he was in awe. He was surprised, like, "Wow, this looked just like it. I need to refer you." And he was just like talking to his friends, other people, showing pictures to his wife, and said, "Look at this." He said, "You got some talent, man. Like, you really need to show your stuff, man. You really need to get out there. People need you." And I'm looking at the picture like, "I don't know. I can't see what you see." He said, "Look at this." And I didn't see how great it was. I was just like really taking my time. I'm the artist, and I'm still like, okay, it's not really perfect to me. It's like, I don't think it's all right in my mind. But when I changed and got rid of my blinders, and I got rid of the time and stress and energy I put into it that was still in my perception, and I looked at it from his point of view, because he put the picture up to the portrait that I made for him, and he started pointing out to how similar it was. Then I was able to see, like, oh wow, like, oh, I guess it is nice. Like, okay, oh wow, I see it now. I'm like, oh, I see what you see. It is great. Okay, like this worked out just fine. Just fine. The point of the story was I didn't rush it. I took my time. It developed on its own, and it came out great. It came out great. when you have children, they're no different than a painting on a wall. They're no different than when you're building a car. You want to get the dimensions right. You can't rush genius. You can't rush perfection. You can't just throw a pile of dough, sugar, and wheat, flour, and eggs, and you just throw it, boom, you just batter and you throw it in the oven and be done with it. You have a pile of mess. And you got this big, what do you call that? This big baking pan look like just a big biscuit or something. A big piece of corn, like it's boiling all over and everything. You don't do children like that. You have to take your time. So one of the big issues behind this is that they are being rushed to destruction because of the parasitic behavior of the mother, of not thinking about the responsibilities when she's like, okay, I want a child, just because. See, there's consequences. There's consequences behind this hypergamy thing. There's consequences behind, the mother's going to always have the child. Okay. She's going to get child support. Okay. All right. She says she's independent. She can do it all by herself. Okay. The consequences is dire because nature comes back to laugh at y'all because you didn't take nature seriously. But, if you don't do right, I can just go ahead and dump you or divorce you in some situation. There's always going to be another man. I can trade you in a minute. Like that song by Beyonce. But, of course, her boyfriend wasn't doing right. But just the phrase itself, I have another man here in a minute. OK, just that specific phrase. I have another man. OK, think that. So you a trade off. OK, this relationship that's not working in your eyes. And not considering the devastations of what you're getting ready to get yourself into out of the frying pan into the skillet, okay, or from a air-conditioned house to the hot desert, okay, and not consider the damages that will be done thereafter. And here she is expecting her child to pay half her rent because her boyfriend's no longer doing that. And then the future of America is shot. It's done for. That child's going to grow up too fast and not really have the focus points. This is why these kids now, this is why we have an argument where you hear people say people are crazy in the world. What's going on? Why they do that? What's going on in the country today? The reason why it's going on in the country, it's the root of the issue. If you follow my audio and my subjects, I talk about the very soil that the flowers are being raised up in. Y'all like talking about the symptoms of it. Oh, these people are crazy. No, being crazy is the symptoms. Okay, the mug shots you see on your smartphone, that's just a symptom. Road rage, that's a symptom. You in the hospital with diabetes, okay, high blood pressure and cholesterol on the gurney, getting surgery done, okay, on bad heart palpitations and near strokes or a stroke, okay. Those are just symptoms. When you are at the crossroads between you and what you think God is, and you stomp the fight, and now all of a sudden you want to jump off the highest building because you've just realized what you believed in was false. That's just symptoms. I talk about the root of the issue way before it happens. So therefore, you can follow it down to the core of it. You can fix it before it sprouts in mutation. These are the very reasons why you see these children grow up to be the very thing that cause catastrophe in your neighborhood and in your cities. And they become your CEOs of your corporations, are the bosses of your jobs, and don't concern themselves with the people that are underneath them. Okay, and all kind of crazy twisted policies that the employees have no choice but to follow. You wonder why so many people walk around without a heart, as you may think, or cold-hearted. Oh, people just don't care about it. There's no compassion anymore. There's no respect anymore. There's no courtesy anymore. People are just driving. They're not going to let me in. They're driving all on my bumper. This person was next to me. They almost bumped me over. And I have my turn signal. No. Don't complain now because you just want to ignore. You're ignoring, ignorant, as some people say. That is just the symptoms. They come from somewhere. They was a child once upon a time. We were all 15 years old once upon a time. So we was raised by certain geniuses and doctors and gods, which are the parents, the orchestrators and the engineers who didn't see straight because they were too foggy with all sorts of pharmaceuticals, over the counter and under the counter pharmaceuticals, and drink because they wanted to pass their day away instead of facing it like a man and woman and dealing with the reality of the choices that they decide to make. I can't make it no more clear than that. The only result of it is being a parasite. Being a parasite on an innocent child. That has to stop. And some of you women know other women who do that. Yeah, I got my son there. He's not going to let me be in a relationship with another guy because my son goes crazy. You know, my son, he always wants to challenge another man who comes into the scene. And you wonder why there's more single mothers and more single women than there ever used to be in the history of America. And you think it's cute because he's standing at guard at the door because he's your pseudo husband. That's great. And that's not cute. Because he's going to be an adult one of these days. He's going to carry along one of these days. He's not going to know what he's doing. He's going to be one of those white knight, blue pill, beta simps and don't know why he's doing it because he was raised by someone who thought it was cute when he was a child that he played the husband or the father too soon and had no idea what he was doing. But if any good sense and logic would have been, okay, we need balance to this home. We need the polarity opposites. We need estrogen and testosterone running around here. This is Leon C., aka Morpheus, your doctor in constructing and doing surgery on the reality of today. Like it, share it, and definitely subscribe and get that book 2020, America Rise, because we are definitely falling. That's not the book title. The book title is 2020, America Rise or Fall. That's the title. And I will talk to you later, Neo.